We'll get back to it.
Yeah.
All right, we back with Marley in the hot seat in the front seat right now. We back to get him to think about something a little bit. All right. So, where you from, Marley?
Well, originally I'm from Versailles, Kentucky. Not many people know much about Versailles, but I was pretty much in between there and Lexington.
Your seatbelt.
Okay, cool.
So
Safety
beeping
first.
The whole time. Yeah.
Don't get in trouble. But yeah, I've been. I was born in Versailles, and then I lived majority of like my teenage years in Lexington. Been here since the 5th grade, but always been a Kentucky native.
What's y'all's definition of success? Marley, let's do yours first.
Yeah, I'm about to say I could confidently say that my definition of success is being comfortable and happy, regardless of what it is or how much I got. If I can wake up every day or most days and be happy and comfortable with the life that I have, then I'm successful.
So you said there's a lot of evil in the world. If you could change one ideology, a misconception, a mindset, a stereotype, just anything about the world, but change it as a whole, what would you change about the world?
Well, the mindset is what I'm going to start with first. I recently watched this New Balance commercial. Shout out to Jack Harlow. And he said something that caught my attention, like immediately the first syllable that came out of his mouth. Of course, he's from Louisville, and pretty much like I feel like it's a Kentucky mentality, really. But everybody wants to be fiercely independent. It's okay to get help from people, and I've said this before that your network is your net worth, and you won't have resources without relationships. Don't be afraid to branch yourself off and make yourself vulnerable to other people, because that is another important way to excel, to brand yourself, to get your name out there. Your relationships, what you put out in the world is what you get back. So please don't think you can do it all by yourself. I think a misconception is people comparing their lives to what they see on social media. Like, we had just watched this documentary the other day about millennials, and we have this syndrome of like feeling left out. When you see somewhere you want to be and you're not there, then you feel like you're left out, and you feel like that you have to attain that in some way because you want it. But little do you know, like, them people in them pictures, you never know what they did to capture that moment. They may just be walking past something and stop and be like, oh yeah, let's take a picture for Instagram, make this look good. Because half the time, I just feel like what they show us is not what they're actually living.
Right.
And you gotta, and you gotta find yourself when trying to do things like that you want to. Because I felt like I grew up just like being scared. My first like thought was I couldn't do it, and I couldn't do it because I seen everybody else doing it better than me. Try not to watch too many people doing other things, and find inspiration amongst yourself instead of like social media, man. I feel like people live vicariously through that.
You just spit some wisdom to me that I hadn't even really thought about, is living that way and being stuck in that I want to be like them. I don't want to be left out way of thinking. And I can see myself, like, I put myself in situations like that all the time where I feel like I'm being left out. I need to go do this. I need to accomplish this, and this goal, or I'm not gonna feel that fulfillment. And like, I'm glad like that someone has made that aware to me, that maybe I should just start living more for me.
Yeah, you find inspiration that way. I mean, because it looks good, but there's a difference between who you are and what you like.
Do you define yourself by the things that you have accomplished or the things you've yet to accomplish?
Well, I definitely define myself by the things that I have like done, because of course they've molded me into who I am. And the things I haven't done was once important to me, but of course I haven't done those, so I don't know what would have came of that, and I wouldn't be here today in this seat if I didn't follow the things that I've already done. So that's definitely molded me, because it's still getting me to the point where I want to be today. So what's molded me is just what I've done, and that's more important. Period. Because I wouldn't have memories, lessons, all that if I didn't do that. I can't be chasing what is. I think fear is what held me back the most. because I couldn't even give myself a chance to say whether I liked it or even that I did something or I've been there. I just wasn't there at all. I didn't gain anything from not doing something. So fear was, I think, my biggest handicap up until now, because I think music really helped me conquer that fear. That's the first thing that I really done with, not being afraid of judgment, because that tied into sports, academics, everything. I was afraid of judgment. So I think fear is the biggest thing that held me back. And people, and I stress it over and over again, people have actually got to do it first, whether you like it or not. Stepping out of your comfort zone will make you. Definitely. Comfort zone is what you have after you worked, after you got what you needed, after you reached that goal. Because of course you got to be human at the end of the day.
Right.
And you got to logically give yourself comfort and put yourself first and give yourself the leisure that you need. But a complete comfort zone that you don't have to come out of is after you accomplish your goals.
What was some of your biggest impacts that you've had in life, whether that be from middle school, high school, the most recent years? Like, what made you who you are today?
Well, to go a little bit deeper, because I've done a few interviews and I don't think I really went into detail on my impacts. Mm-hmm. It probably would start with my second grade teacher. She went by Miss Richardson, and I feel like that she challenged us beyond what kids were expected of.
Right.
It wasn't more of a school format; it was just life. She wasn't only teaching us by the book, but just pretty much, what we needed to prepare us for the world. She inspired me to be just to grow up a little faster, present myself a little more distinguished than I used to. But then going beyond that is pretty much my parents. They really gave me a free flowing life. I was able to make my own decisions and learn from them. My sister is also an inspiration. And then, Wayne was one of the first rappers I ever listened to.
Yes.
For real, bro.
Here recently, I've been listening to Family Feud over and over with Wayne and
that shit's hot.
Remix.
That shit's hot.
Bro.
But I have a handful of inspirations, but that's probably more of my most important inspirations out of the big, long list. And I feel like you get more out of the experience, whether you fail or not, than just not doing anything at all.
I just finished the interview and linking up with Misguided. Misguided came up to Cincinnati all the way from Lexington, and I'm so gifted to have their presence, man. Yeah, coach! Yeah, coach! Yeah, coach!
Yes, I'm just living I'm just thinking about $1 million. I rock it out on you pebbles. I'm lifting up all your spirits. You can't stop the heart.